Good evening, and welcome to Dynamic Connections. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you out there in television land. And I guess we really are in December, aren't we? Because it's really cold. So let me just tell you a little bit about Dynamic Connections, for those of you who don't know. I own Dynamic Connections. I'm the founder, and I'm the CEO of Dynamic Connections. And CEO stands for Chief Encouraging Officer. Because as I said before, sometimes people just need a little bit of encouragement to take that next step for their business. Tonight, I'm so excited to welcome Serephine Wanami. Hi, Serephine.
Hi, Jeannette.
And she owns a business called Serephine Photography. So not only are we going to learn a little bit about her, but we're going to be able to see some of her work, and I'm really excited about that. So you must be excited to be here, Serephine.
I really am.
Yeah? Yeah, good, yeah.
Yes.
And wait till you see her work. It's really, really great. So let's just get to know you a little bit. Some of the people out in the audience, I'm sure, will want to. So did you grow up in Randolph?
Actually not.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, in Kenya, nice.
Yes. And I grew up there until I was about 21, just a little over 21, when I migrated to the United States.
Wow.
And now I can actually really say that I've been here for as long as, actually probably longer than I was in Kenya.
Oh, good.
So,
that's great. Well, we're glad to have you here for sure.
thank you for having me.
Yes, exactly. So you're married? Was your husband from Kenya as well?
My husband's from Kenya.
Oh, great.
And,
Good.
We met here.
Oh, you're kidding. You come halfway across the world and you meet somebody from your country. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
That's great.
You know how people talk about 6 degrees of separation?
Yes.
When we talked about how we met, from how we were born, raised, there was always that 6 degrees of separation within where places that we touched at different times in our lives.
Right.
But then we came to meet here.
Amazing, amazing. And you have a little one?
We have a little one. She's 5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
We actually took our first trip. She took her first trip to visit the grandparents in Kenya.
Oh, she did?
Even though she had met some of them here.
Uh-huh.
But she got to be in Kenya, get to meet all her other cousins and everybody else.
And is she bilingual, as you are, I'm sure? Oh, I always think that is so wonderful for kids to be bilingual. There's just so much more opportunity for them in our world that's getting smaller and smaller all the time. So tell me about your photography. I'm very excited about this. Did you always want to be a photographer?
I always wanted to be in the creative industry, but my parents are entrepreneurs. And
they are?
Yes.
Whoa,
both my
you
parents
have the spirit. You have the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And my dad didn't want me to struggle.
Oh, okay.
So he wanted me to go to business school.
Yes. And did you?
I did.
Yeah. Here or in
Yes,
Kenya?
here.
Oh, good.
I went to Worcester State College and I graduated with business administration with a concentration in finance.
Oh, boy. And you're a creative person, so how is that for you? Left-brained, right-brained?
That was not the easiest thing.
No.
But eventually, I mean, like, when in school, I would do a little bit of photography. I just could not see how I could have a comfortable life doing it.
Yep.
But life has a way of putting you in place.
That's right.
And down the road, after about 10, maybe 15 years in the field, here I am.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you wanted to be creative, but it wasn't necessarily photography you were thinking of when you were younger? No? Something in the creative world.
Yes.
So it's an art form, photography, absolutely.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So you found out you had your entrepreneurial spirit because you have it in your genes.
I
if
do.
your parents do.
Yes.
That's awesome. I've had guests on here before, and they've always been influenced by their parents. It's so funny to hear it. Well, my dad influenced me doing this, and I guess you do live what you learn. Is that what you learn what you live?
Yes.
However that saying goes. Yeah.
It's amazing because I think it's ingrained in you. Yeah. Because from an early age, we would go help out. My dad has a cafe, and we would go help out at work.
Yes.
And then you'd earn money.
Yes.
During school breaks.
Right.
And because of that, like from an early age, I learned how to earn money. I would go in, help out. And I think to some extent, that, and now I look back and I say this was all in training for
yes.
what I do now.
Right.
As well as going to business school, I was trying to take the easy way out, but not really.
I think your dad wanted you to take the easy way out, but
He did.
Plus, it's training, I think, for customer relations working in a cafe. Did you find that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You gotta keep the customers happy.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me about your photography. Do you do a certain kind of photography, or, you know, I know some people specialize in animals, some people specialize in weddings. What is your specialty?
Family portraiture.
Oh, great. And we're going to see a couple of your pictures, and maybe in a
portraiture.
minute or two they'll put something up and you can explain it to us. Oh, there we go.
So yes, so I love photographing families. I have a young family, so I find that, but also, regardless with family, when you have children, they are your whole world. And there are these moments that we forget on a day-to-day basis, catching when there's that connection, when mom and dad, or just even mom, siblings are playing, interacting with each other. Those are the moments that we tend to miss. I tend to go more for the candid lifestyle photography as opposed to the traditional portraits. And don't get me wrong, during a regular family session, I do make time to have the formal portraits where everybody's looking at the camera, smiling, because those are the pictures that matter to grandma.
Yes, yes.
And
Well, yeah.
but then
Look at this. They're playing in the water. You just can't get that back, can you?
nope.
You know, the next day they're a day older.
Yes.
Don't you think?
And
Yeah.
a year from now, you're not going to remember what it is that mattered so much, what made them cry that day they had the biggest meltdown.
That's right. Yeah.
So when we capture these moments, we make an experience. I meet with the clients, we talk about the session, what matters to them. I get to know them, they get to know me. So by the time we actually meet for their portrait session, we sort of know each other. The children know me a little. I'm not a complete stranger to them.
Right. So where was this taken?
This was taken at the Bradley Estate.
In Canton.
Yes.
Bradley Estate is beautiful.
Yes, at the Fillmore Gardens.
So do you have to get permission to go there to take the pictures? Is
Yes.
that how that works?
Yes, I do have permission. I have a membership that allows photographers to go photograph there.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I had no idea.
So yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can go to the next photo. David can get us that. Oh, look at that picture. Oh my goodness, how breathtaking is that?
Yes, I love capturing. See, it's just dad or mom. Dad is not going to be able to hold her in another year.
That's
not
right.
get her in that exact position.
Right.
These moments are so fleeting.
So what was he doing? Just kind of throwing her in the air, or?
Yes.
Yes.
They were playing. He was throwing her around, spinning her around, and she was being silly.
Well, you can just see the joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's just, I mean, you can see that in both of them.
Yes.
And if you notice in my pictures, I sort of try to take a back seat where I'm documenting, but you don't take notice of me.
Right.
For most of the pictures. So.
Right. So do you just tell them to play, or do you just say, just do what you're doing and I'm just...
Yes. Sometimes I give prompts.
Uh-huh.
I might adjust you, I might adjust myself and let them do their thing. And
Right.
there.
Wow.
moments.
So did you, now that you're a professional photographer, did you have to get some kind of a certification or anything? No? You don't
Not
have
yet.
to?
I'm working on that.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm working on my certification for professional photographers.
Yep.
So I should be getting that in a little while, but
That's
not
great.
there yet.
Yes.
It takes a while.
It does. Plus, you know, what a beautiful portfolio you're building.
Thank you.
With pictures like this.
Thank you.
So maybe we could see the next picture. Oh, my goodness. Oh, look at those faces.
They're precious.
Now, what were they talking about?
We had actually been photographing them for a little while, and then they had to stop and take a snack. And I don't quite recall what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But you see how they're swooning over their little brother?
They are.
It's
And are they twins? No.
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 I think she was 9, 8, and 4 at the time.
Look at him with his bow tie on.
Yes. Oh, is so cute.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes when you just fleetingly look at a photograph, you don't really appreciate
Right.
all of the, the flowers that are in it, her dress, her shoes.
And yeah, and for this particular session, actually, this was at their home. They were getting ready to sell their home.
Oh.
But the children had been born and raised there, and they wanted to hold on to those memories.
What a great idea.
So
who would think of that? I would never think of that.
isn't it amazing? We go through these phases in our lives when we might never get them again.
Right.
Or you're preparing for something,
Right.
and once this phase goes, that's it, it's gone.
Right.
But at least you have photographs that you can hold on to.
That's right. That's
so
right.
now they have them framed in their house.
So tell me, what is the biggest challenge for you photographing people? I would imagine that it's more challenging if you're just taking a formal picture. What challenge do you have? I'll let you answer me.
So it's actually more challenging for me to do the formal than the candid.
I would think, yes.
Because you have to find that right balance. But when I do a regular formulae portrait session, we start with the candid. We do a little bit of both. I'll start with the formal, so at least that's out of the way. Then go into the candid, and in between that, we'll do more formal, and then end with candid, or formal, depending on how I feel, where we're going. If a family has children, then we might actually end with a candid, because by the time, generally, sessions take about an hour. So by the time we're done with that 1 hour, the last about 40 minutes, they've relaxed, and I'm able to capture them and the essence of their personality, really who they are. They've gelled. They realize, oh, this is just not another task that mom wants us to do. We can have fun.
Yes, exactly.
We can have fun. So
yeah. So if you're doing a formal portrait and you've got a little screaming kid, how do you get them to smile or settle down? Or that to me would be such a challenge.
Go back to the basics. Get them to relax. One of the things that I actually generally do is tell mom or dad to prepare, and I give them information to prepare for the session. So that by the time they come to me, the kids are fed, they're well rested. Because those are some of the biggest issues. And then, so now the other part is, unless you have a daughter like my daughter, who does not ever relax, most of the time, either singing, playing, having them run around and come back, just having conversations with the parents, whether they're talking about vacation that they took or what they enjoy doing. And that's also part of what we try to do most of the sessions, is I'll find something that matters to them, and then, or a location that matters to them, because they're already comfortable with that location.
Right.
So we might play around, sing, and do everything to get the job done.
I know. I know. I have a lot of grandchildren, and sometimes when, they just, it's like, all right, put them to bed or take them for a walk or something to calm them down. But that to me would be a challenge, a big challenge for you. So I know this is probably going to be a crazy question, but what's the most rewarding part of taking pictures? Probably the result.
Yes, the results. When a couple, mom or dad, and even the children looking at the picture and saying, this is us.
Yeah.
The first picture you saw, the mother cried.
Oh.
She cried when I did her reveal session, because she was able, for the first time, to be able to see herself and her family as she imagines that they are, the relationship that they have. So she cried. Aww. So that is the most rewarding thing when I can actually capture. And that's my goal with each and every session that I go into.
Yeah.
So and because of that, we do a lot of planning, and I get to know the clients, and I put in the time.
Right.
To get to know
so
them.
if someone came to you and wanted some candids and some photographs taken, you have a session with them, like it's a consulting session first?
Yes.
Okay.
We do a consultation session. Well, I'll talk to them on the phone. Then we'll set up a time when we get to meet. Once we meet, we talk about everything from what the family likes, we talk about wardrobe.
Oh, yes.
I help plan out and pick out clothes because sometimes people will, when you're not used to being in the camera or dealing with looking at people, you can't quite, sometimes it's difficult to figure out what will go well. I encourage my clients not to match all their outfits. Find clothes that coordinate. They add interest to your portraits. Things that are more flattering to you. Dress up nicely.
Yeah.
You'll feel good. When you feel good from the
Sure.
inside, it shows on the outside. So I encourage my clients to do that. So we plan that. We plan the location. We talk about what to do on the day of the session. Like, as I said, getting the kids fed, rested, finding the time that works. I love working when doing outdoor sessions. I love working at sunset. Unless it's a shady day, cloudy day.
Cloudy day, yeah.
Yes, a cloudy day.
It's okay.
I love working at sunset because that's the time that the light is most fluttering. But
That's so interesting that you say that.
yeah.
Because I would think a sunny day would be the best, but no.
Yes, no. When it's cloudy, that's like having a filter.
Uh-huh.
So the lighting is more even now. So and that works with sunset also. So preparing, finding the time. But if you have a family, working with a family that has young children, then the time that works for me doesn't necessarily work for them.
That's right.
Because naps,
Yes, yes.
reaching out, all that plays into. And then I also encourage families to try and avoid having too many other things going on the same day. Because it just helps them be more rested, grounded, and ready for the session.
Right, and I like what you said about letting them wear something that makes them feel good, because so many times I've seen portraits where everyone's got a white shirt and jeans on, you know, and it's like, I mean, it's beautiful because their, you know, their faces are there, but when you say things like that, that really pulls people into who they are,
Yes.
as opposed to
Yes.
what the photographer or what somebody said, wear the same thing.
Oh yeah, this is the trend. Let's all go this route.
Yes.
So yes, to
That's-
start with what you're most comfortable with, and or something that you'd be a little more, you know, when you're going somewhere special. This is a special occasion.
Right,
Put in the extra effort. Get your hair and makeup done.
right.
It'll go a long way, especially for mom. Get groomed.
Right, right.
Then it all
comb
plays
hair.
a big role. Right?
Maybe we could put another picture up, David, because I'm fascinated. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
You did capture it, didn't you?
Yes. So
Wow.
as you can see that, I think it's very clear that you can see the love they have. Now, usually most people get portraits done right when they get married. And then I work mostly with families, so that is who I'm going to use as my examples.
Sure.
And it's very difficult for mom and dad to have time for themselves.
Right.
You know, so with each portrait session, I carve out time.
Oh, for the mom and dad.
For mom and dad.
Oh.
Yes.
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 Wow. Now, where were they? They're obviously sitting in the grass.
This is in the grass, and this was actually at the Brookwood Farm, community farm in Milton.
Oh, I'm not familiar
Right by
with that.
the Blue Hills.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, is that off one? Yes, I think I know where that is. And again, you have to get permission, obviously, to go in there.
Yes,
Well, it's
Blue
like,
Hill
what are you
River
doing?
Road.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my word. So did they come? They wanted their pictures taken with their children.
Yes.
And this is obviously their children aren't there right now. But do you ever just get couples that come that don't have
Yes, I
children
do.
yet? Or
I do get like anniversary pictures. Not so many of the engagement portraits because I don't really do weddings.
right.
Although I do actually like smaller weddings, like
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, it's not a big formal wedding. It's just a few people, and we're having dinner out somewhere. Yes.
yes,
Yeah. And a lot of people that are married the second time around do that.
yes, a lot of those they do that.
Right.
They prefer that something that's a little more low keyed
Right.
because then they don't either have the budget or they've already gone through that. They don't want to deal with that
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
So I do a little bit of
Yeah.
that. Yes.
And barn weddings are really popular now.
Oh, does that really get on
Have
there?
you, Have you ever done one of those? I know you don't do weddings usually, but
No, I haven't done a band
I've
wedding.
heard about some of them. Wow, they can be wild too.
I've done a style shoot though at a band location, and the reason I do style shoot is to keep my creativity, because when you get used to working all the time, even as a creative, you need a creative outlet.
You do, absolutely.
When you're not getting paid to do the work, because you need that to push yourself creatively and get yourself all excited.
Exactly. So do we have the next picture up, and we'll see what that one is about. Ah, the babies always get me.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes, so this was actually a breastfeeding session.
Really?
Yes. He was obviously done nursing
Nursing
by
Exactly.
And I love this portrait because really you can see that it's
Look at the joy.
the joy in the mother's eyes, and not just the mother's eyes. Look at the little boy. The mama is just really, she's his whole world.
Yes, 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 exactly. So where was this taken?
This was actually taken in Waltham.
Oh, I grew up in Waltham. Isn't that
Oh, did
funny?
you?
Yes. Where?
Amazing.
At the
This-
Payne?
No.
The
it's-
Gore estate?
No. It's actually not really a park.
Oh,
It's an off-site location.
yeah.
I don't
Wherever
remember
it was, it was beautiful.
that location.
It was in Waltham, I
Yes,
guess,
she
yeah.
wanted to go there, and I actually don't remember the
Yeah.
location.
Oh, that is
But that was in Waltham, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful picture. Yeah. And the vibrancy of the color of her dress
Yes.
is beautiful.
She had an amazing session. We had an amazing time. You wouldn't be able to tell by this, but it was actually a very cloudy day.
Yeah,
Overcast,
no.
and the ground was completely wet.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's always a challenge. Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate. So maybe we'll see the next picture. And look at the color. Look at the colors in
Isn't
it.
it?
So this was the same lady
Yes.
and her two children that you were at the Bradley estate?
Yep. This is at the Bradley Estate in the Summer Gardens. And one of the things that I like about the Bradley Estate, not only is it just close to me, it's also, you can be in the same location today, tomorrow it looks completely different.
Right.
So I like that about it.
Yeah. I've been to the Bradley estate. It's beautiful there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was summer.
This was in the summer, yes.
Yep.
And a week before that, we had, I think 2 weeks before that, you could see it was evident that it was still the spring garden. So, and then you show up. Amazing how the weather changes and everything changes. So, yeah.
Mother Nature, boy. Just the colors from the flowers and the colors in her blouse. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's see one more, because I know we've got a couple of other things to cover. Oh! So now, would you put this on one photo sheet, as I'm calling it a sheet, and that's probably the wrong word?
So this is called a cluster.
A cluster,
or
okay.
portrait collection.
Okay.
And actually, it's printed on metal art.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yes. See how vibrant the colors are?
Yes.
So how I generally would do it's actually 4 different images. We have the big portrait, which is about a 20 by 32.
Okay.
And that's their big family portrait. And then each individual person had, like what I'd like to do is focus on everybody in the family, take a few minutes to get a good portrait of the family. Because it's important for each and every one of us to see our portraits as a family, and each person as a unit, as an individual, but then also as a unit. So
Wow, that's
Yes.
great. Look at the happiness in her face.
yes.
That's great. That's really good.
She's got a most beautiful smile,
Oh, yes.
doesn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So maybe we could show one more picture, then we're going to get into the tips
Sure.
for our
Absolutely.
audience.
Oh,
Wow.
so this is how I generally display. That's a big 30 by 40 portrait on canvas.
The little girl in the tulips.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's at the Tulip Farm in Rhode Island. And then the other one is actually the standout frame prints. And that's the family where we had the couple, and now
Yes.
here they are. The
Yes.
family.
Yes.
Yes, so that's standout. This other one at the bottom is actually just a traditional portrait, framed.
What a cutie. Thank you.
And then this other one is metal art, and that was an extended family session.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I want to move on to some tips perhaps you could give our audience. They'll be taking pictures on the holidays, and they'll be using their cell phones, and we only have a few minutes left. So if you could just give us quickly a couple of tips on just using your own cell phone. I know that's not what you do, but you might be able to help them a little bit.
Sure. One of the biggest tips is actually find the most flattering lighting in your house. Most of the time when you're doing holiday pictures, you're doing them in the house. So if you're working with your children, or mostly your children, let's say they're opening gifts, try to move around. Don't be shy to actually ask them to turn a little, because if you have the window here and the light is coming in, you want to position yourself in a position where you can actually see them. Don't be afraid to move around, change your angle, and try it a little and see, be patient.
Yeah, be patient.
You're better off getting one portrait, but one good quality portrait than having 100 portraits. And then get down to the level of the family members, whether if it's children or adults.
Sure.
Yes, be at the same level, focus on the face. But give yourself a little bit of distance so that you get a good angle from them. The other thing is slow down, put the camera down, and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Enjoy those moments, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Right, right. Now I want to really quickly, because we have 2 minutes I think left, if you want to just pick up your album quickly to show the audience how the book comes out. Is that usually what you give them? Okay, so we just want to open it.
All right. So this is a family album, and the goal with each session is mostly I focus on wall art. I believe that it's important for families to see their wall art and see their portraits on their wall. But then also the other thing is, half the times we have a lot of portraits, and not everything makes it on your walls. So then you want to go with the album, because then you have those memories to hold on to. They make great gifts for the holidays. They make great gifts. They'll be in your family for years.
Yes.
They are printed on archival quality paper, so you can be assured that you can pass it on to the next generation.
Beautiful.
So, yes.
Oh, look at that. I love that. Yes. Well, I can't thank you enough, Serephine, for coming on my show and sharing everything that you do. Your creativity is unmatched. It's beautiful. And so if you would like to reach out to Serephine, she's at serephinephotography.com. You could just go to the website, I'm sure, and reach out to her. So I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. And I hope you have a wonderful, blessed holiday season. You know, take time to relax and enjoy each other and be kind to each other, which is the most important thing, and be joyful. So remember, be dynamic. Keep smiling. It's contagious. Good night.